All right, I hit the button. It's taking a minute. There we go.
That's the way. How you doing, guys?
We're doing
Welcome to
good. We're doing good. We were just
yeah,
talking in the back room about Panama and tax
yeah, exactly.
shelters.
Tax shelters and how to do. Like, I wanna come up with a scheme when, like, indie guys start doing well to just bring their money down to Panama so they can keep it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
so they can
Sounds
they
good.
can they can secure it against
yeah,
unjust taxation and
taxation.
seizure.
Yeah, taxation
Yeah,
is
yeah.
good. And that's the thing. Like, you see, there's a huge like expat community here. Like, there's this beach
Yep.
community called Coronado. It's full. You don't even need to know Spanish. It's full of Americans and Canadians.
It's a
More
lot. Sounds a
Canadians than
lot like
anything.
Belize, which is
Yeah,
where all the
exactly.
expats go to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Right next to Guatemala. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You can
So
tell I've been looking. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
I've been looking to move, man.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, man. Like people are getting like kissing the feet of success. A lot of people are gonna blow out, and I want to keep them safe, man. Keep your
Right.
money
No,
in.
when you're done running your crowdfunding money laundering
Yeah,
scheme, as
yeah,
everybody knows,
exactly.
because it's just money
Yes.
laundering, you have that
Hmm.
enormous amount of money. You just want to put
Yeah,
it somewhere safe where no one can touch it. So
yeah,
obviously,
exactly.
that's what people making huge totals in crowdfunding are going to
I
want
would
to do.
like to disavow everything that Netflix just said. Just go on the record.
Nice. Yeah. Welcome to the Ginge Pedro show, where you get
Yo,
your financial uninformed information. And
no, I think it's not a bad idea. A comic
hey,
book.
what's up,
We just
Laura?
have to sort of market it the right way, right? A comic book. It's the comic book indie bank.
Yeah.
Just put the little logo as a
Ooh, the
washing machine.
indie bank.
I like it.
That sounds
Yeah,
a
we
little
got
bit
Lori
racist. I
called.
like it. Calcaterra.
There we go. Thank you, buddy.
Calcaterra. Lori
Hello,
Calcaterra,
Lori.
right? I don't know.
Thanks
I
for
just
coming
went
by.
Italian. Sounds Italian with
It
it.
You know.
is.
Hello, buddy. Total
So,
excellence indeed. And I want to say hello to Ollie. He was in earlier.
Ollie,
Ollie.
hello.
Órale, Oliver.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, that's my
So,
Mexican brother.
okay, hold on. We got a follow up here. She says, "Ooh, with an accent. Good job.
You
There you
see?
go, buddy."
You see? Yes. I provide that service.
Hello. It says, "What's he's in the house?"
Yeah. Órale.
Lori.
Oh.
Lori
Ah,
is the host of
huevo.
the Tuesday Morning Brew.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I know who Laura is. I've seen her around. Yeah.
So, all right, gang. Let's sort of get into it here.
Yeah.
The two of you obviously run your own shows and have done a million shows at this point, but we haven't had you over here yet. And so I actually have Judex lined up if you guys wanted to talk about that as well. I actually also read Mavericks before the show. And
Ooh.
very exciting stuff, bro. Lots of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fellow mech lovers.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
definitely.
I mean 2022 was a time for wolves. This should be the time for mechs.
Mechs.
Just
Yep, we
heavy
got
gear.
Armored Core just came out. You
Yeah.
guys are
Yeah.
doing
Mhm.
Kaijus and Waifus, which looks fantastic and is
Yeah.
a
Oh,
brilliant.
thank you, sir.
I was just
Thank
saying
you.
it's brilliant for marketing. Like it's gonna
Mhm.
be firing on so many cylinders. I can see that being incredibly
Yeah,
popular.
we have
Hilarious too. Just a wonderful idea. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm like, oh man, that's so good.
Why didn't I think of it?
It's the same thing, like I was saying with Pixel and the Little Mermaid. I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
just,
Genius.
it just hits just right.
Yeah,
Right?
dude,
It gets me
that's
right in the
the
funny
thing.
bone.
I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn here, but yeah, I used to
No, you
sell.
deserve it for this.
It's a great horn. I like you picked
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah,
You toot his horn, Ginge?
Yeah,
No,
sometimes.
well, I mean, I'll give him a compliment, but I'm
Yeah.
going nowhere near his horn by any means.
I mean,
Oh, come on,
Mo
James.
won't stop teasing me about patting Garrett's leg in
Mm.
reassurance. So you toot Pedro's horn, man. Where is he? Where is Mo
Okay.
to,
That's
to come in on this?
that's what I call reinforcement and camaraderie.
Yeah,
You have to
camaraderie,
support each
exactly,
other.
yes.
Yeah, so
You know, toot
that's
my horn a
the
little
leg.
bit. I'll toot yours. Yeah, we support each
Exactly.
other.
You gotta be reciprocal.
Yeah.
Ollie's got a
Yeah.
question here. I cut my hair.
Yeah.
Very
I put this
nice.
hat on because it's the same type of hat that Neff wears, so I thought I'd.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
mine doesn't have a little thing in the back though. It's just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
And the reason that I have a hat
Those are
like
the nice
this
backs, though.
is because I don't like domed hats like baseball caps because they make my head look small. This like sits
He
up
has
a
a
little bit more
complex.
and gives my head more
Oh.
dimension.
He doesn't like the
Otherwise,
shape
I
of
have
his
like a
head.
weird little oval shaped top of my head
Yeah,
when I'm wearing a
yeah.
baseball cap, and I look strange.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I've
can't
got a
wear those.
pretty big head.
I can't wear those type of hats because I look like a guerrilla fighter.
Right? I was gonna say you need like the big burly mustache.
Yeah, the
Why
big
don't
burly
you have
beard, and
Bandana.
Not quite the right complexion. I'm a
the
little bit
bullet-
more like yellowish,
Olive.
olivey,
Yeah.
Mediterranean. Yeah, I need to get
The
darker.
bullet
If I
belt.
tanned a little bit, then
Yeah,
I
if you went out in the
Yeah,
sun,
probably.
you get.
I know if
get dark in the
you
sun.
tend, you can pass as Ecuadorian now. If you tend,
maybe I just get a big cigar, right?
yeah, exactly.
Right.
There you go.
Then you
South
throw
America.
America on a bike and go to Cuba and become a mass genocide. Yeah. Just-
Jake Twister, holy
You're
crap!
It's good to see you.
What's up, buddy?
Haven't seen Jake in a real long time.
Oh yeah, Jake. Yeah, where have you been, Jake?
I mean, it's only been like 6 months,
Yeah.
but still.
Yeah,
He
he's
pops
just
in
been
and out.
on break.
He's busy.
Got to take a breather.
Mm.
Good guy.
Yeah, those are good.
Okay. So,
Ooh.
yeah, guys. So let's sort of talk your creative journey a little bit. That's
Yeah,
one thing
sure.
we would like to do on the show. So, obviously, the two of you are a couple. So maybe we can start. Just sort of where did you two meet, and was it over a love of writing, or tell us about it. Okay.
She was my birthday present one year.
Oh, awesome! Did she come out of a cake?
No, but she
No, I
brought,
made a cake.
she
though.
brought the strawberry shortcake, and she
Nice.
brought an entire bar of alcohol.
Oh,
So my
yeah.
friend John and
Yeah.
and Robert and I, it was Dark, right? It was
Yeah.
Dark. Yeah. John, Dark, Robert, and I all have birthdays right around the same time. It's like June 18th, 20th, and 22nd, right? Like we're
Okay.
within just a couple days of each other. So we used to do this 3-way birthday bash. And
Which just means 3 people having a birthday party
Yeah.
together,
like a
not like a
3-way on
three-way.
your birthday.
that sounds disgusting.
yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be a little weird.
All right.
But we would get
That's
together
a-
at like
that's a lot of
at like the
mayonnaise.
big house in Astoria or in Forest Hills or wherever, and we would have an enormous get together with lots and lots of people to just come out and hang out and have a good time and get drunk and while out. It was like a birthday. I'm not entirely sure what happened on Crystal's side. You could explain that.
So, Rob and John both had girlfriends, and they were kind of like throwing the party. And Aaron was single at the time, and
Newly single.
Crystal was my best friend, like from high school. And she called me up and was like, "Hey, I'm making a cake for John. Molly's making one for Rob." She's like, "Would you mind making one for Aaron?" And her boyfriend at the time, they're now married, was like scheming to kind of get the two of us together anyway.
John's
Yeah,
one of my
John.
close friends.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
doing
yeah,
the whole-
sure.
I don't have many. I have like 5 people that I give a shit about. He's definitely one of them.
Oh, cool.
So like John had kind of like told Crystal that, oh, you should ask Kimmy. She loves to bake. She's a good baker. You should have her do it. And so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And I was kind of famous for strawberry shortcake that I make from scratch, like the whole, and not the strawberries, but everything else, like the whipped cream, the frosting, the cake, all of it. And so I made that, and I had we had a big party a couple months beforehand, and like people would bring
Bottles of
alcohol and stuff, and it
Leave
was
them
way
behind.
more than I could ever drink. So I just dragged that too.
You know those big milk crates?
Yeah, it
That
was
Oh,
get
full of
bottles
it.
of milk. Yeah,
With
it's just
alcohol.
full
Full of
of
alcohol.
like vodka, rum, spiced rum, Malibu, whiskey, just bottles upon bottles of hard liquor. And she shows up with, the cake, and
He
then
came out to the car to help me bring everything.
and I saw that she brought me a cake, and she brought a milk crate full of liquor, and I was like, yeah, if this woman could cook eggs, I think we're gonna get married.
And
Yeah, I
I
married
can,
this
and
woman.
so we did.
I made her wait 12 years though.
Yeah, we were together for a
Yeah.
while.
We were
before
together
I
for
got married.
12 years before we
11
got
and a
married.
half.
Something like
but,
that, yeah. But yeah, we got together the 18th of June, and that was our anniversary for a really long time. And then we got married on November 11th.
Yep.
And so that's now our anniversary, but I think we still celebrate the 18th of
Yeah,
June.
because I mean, that one was just we celebrated for a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a date. It's a date that's worthy of remembrance. But I like
that
the
will live
fact
in
that
infamy.
I like the fact that you played Hard to Get now. 11 years. Wow.
We lived together for a while. I wanted
Yeah.
to make sure she could handle my bullshit. I wanted to make sure that like I wouldn't scare her off, because if we got married and married our assets and then my bullshit scared her off, I wasn't going to let her take half my shit. You know, I wanted to make sure that this was going to be a thing.
I should have done that.
Yeah.
Prenups,
No,
man. Prenups.
I met my girlfriend at a party, like about 10 years ago, and we've been dating for 7 years still. So, yeah, she was with another guy there, and he just got at that party. He got so drunk, they ended up passing out and falling asleep in the bathtub. We just kind of,
Oh my goodness.
pushed him in there. There was no water. It was just, like.
He
Yeah,
didn't
but still,
drown
like
or
that's
anything.
not like a super comfy place to sleep. Like
No.
Well,
You guys are
You've never
making
slept
me.
in a bathtub before.
I haven't.
All right, maybe you should try it before you knock
No
it.
thanks. I preferred comfy
Just one of those
things.
inflatable pillows, right? And just it can be really nice.
You guys are making me feel great. I was married for.
I'm an
11
excellent
years, and now I
baker,
have a pet
Ollie.
rock. And now I have
No,
a
she's
pet
an
rock.
incredible cook. She's a great baker. I mean, like for real, she's
Excellent
an excellent
baker.
baker.
Thank you.
I couldn't be happier. I'm not letting this one go. This is it. You know, I'm not gonna get married again. We're gonna be together till we die, or one of us
true.
dies, and then the other one like commits seppuku shortly thereafter and throws
Okay.
themselves. on
I
top
will
of the
not be.
coffin.
I love you, but I will not be committing seppuku.
No ritual suicide. When
No.
okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
You gotta leave that in paper now.
Okay. It's in my will. And then I die. You get all the life insurance. You inherit everything, but in a year and a day, you must commit ritual
thanks.
suicide.
With a rusty katana. Yeah.
That's actually an interesting segue. You guys were just in Japan a couple.
Suicide?
Oh my
Yeah, I see where you're going. It was good. It was good, Ginge. No,
Well, I know, it was
it was
perfect.
well done. I couldn't
well done.
resist the, so yes, we were just in Japan. We went there for 5 weeks. It was our second trip. We bummed around all over the place. Went to Tokyo. We went to Hokkaido. We went to Kyoto. A lot of places ending in O.
Yeah.
We went to Kamakura
Osaka.
to just kind of like break the O streak.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because even in Hokkaido, we went to Sapporo, and
Yeah.
well, Lake Toya had an A.
Yeah. Well,
Kobe, Nara,
dude, so
Osaka.
have either of you guys ever been to New York City?
Yep.
No.
Okay, so if you've been to New York City, have you been down to St. Mark's Place?
No.
Right out between 2nd and 3rd. It's that
Plus,
one.
you would have to go down to St. Mark's Place like in the 90s, because St. Mark's Place now
It's still there.
it is still there.
It's-
It is not the same as it used to be.
back in the day,
Trash
in
and
Lower
bottles
Manhattan,
gone.
there is a really funky spot. It's like one block between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. On I think it's 12th or 10th. I can't remember, but it's down there. And it was this one street where, like, there were a bunch of head shops, and there was like an old retro video game store, and there were a couple arcade cabinets, and lots. There was a Fredericks of Hollywood. There was
Trash and
Trash in
Vaudeville. There's
Vaudeville.
Patricia Fields.
There was a lot of,
St.
like,
Mark's
a really-
Comics
really
was over there.
cool-
None of that is there anymore.
really
That's
cool
what I'm saying.
alternative shops, like alternative
Yeah.
fashion. There was St. Mark's Comics, which was the big one.
closed.
There was Forbidden Planet, but St. Mark's Comics was where like everyone
I went
went
there.
to get
I think
their indies.
went there.
They
Yeah.
especially their indies. Like you could go to Midtown Comics or Big Apple Comics, but they're gonna have like the big names, like the big two. If you went to St. Mark's, you were getting the alternatives. Like they had Robert Crumb, they had like the indie shit, and it was great. And they stocked Image and Valiant and stuff.
Yeah,
but
they had like
didn't-
everything.
they had back issues of Marvel, but they weren't like big into the Marvel and DC boom that was going on in the. Anyway, getting off topic because I'm already off topic
Tangent.
on a tangent. There is a pizza
I'm
restaurant
telling
on St. Mark's, which is incredibly famous. It is
go on.
called Two Brothers Pizza.
That pizza place is still there.
It
It's
is
like
still
one of the
there.
few things that haven't closed.
And they have $1.50 slices. Now the prices have gone up. Back in the
Yes.
day, you could get 2 slices for $2, and it was like
Wow.
the big thing. When I was at music school, because I used to, play, And we would go there. We would go to St. Mark's. We'd go to Two Brothers for pizza and play some video games, and then we would go back for the rest of our music day. St. Mark's is that gay club, right? No, that's there is it's the East Village, not the West Village, Eric. The West Village is the one you're thinking of. Hop on the fence to Christopher Street. That's where Leather Lane is, where it's all the leather daddy shops. What's up, Christian? So anyway, there's Two Brothers still there, big thing. Is it Sapporo or Kobe? It's Kobe. Kobe, there is a Two Brothers pizza.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Like
For
real
real,
New York
like
pizza.
real New York style, Two Brothers. It's a little bit off. I think it has to do with the way that the dough rises and the water.
Yeah,
it's the
the
same
water
thing like
is
the
different.
rice.
It's pretty close, though.
But for real, like I was like, holy shit! And we
And they
went
had like garlic powder and crushed red
Actual
pepper
red crushed
flakes,
red
which
pepper
you can't
flakes.
find like
Anywhere.
outside of New York.
Yeah.
They don't really.
You know what I
so
really-
that was a really
really
exciting
remember?
thing for us. Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I
taste
really
of home.
remember about New York? Well, I went to New York in '94 when I did like a tour with a band. Dude, I remember
That's
we
cool
used to
band.
go. Oh, it was a
Pedro's
hardcore band.
Pedro's a rock star. He's legitimately a rock star.
Yeah, it was a hardcore band, and yeah, we got invited. Like we played with Sick of It All, I think. With Sick of It
Oh,
All
nice.
and some other bands. But they took us to Canal Street to have like, it was like dollar dumplings. It was
Yeah,
you pay, like,
the,
$1. It was like broth and like 4 dumplings,
Yep.
and I knew that was like full
Yep.
of mice head. Like it shouldn't be this. It shouldn't be this like cheap. But it was awesome.
So he was
man.
on. He was on Canal, which is just south of.
I know where Canal is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's on the.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. I'm trying
Remember
to
growing
remember
up
the
in
name of the.
Manhattan.
I'm trying to remember the name of the shop
Yeah.
that served
So I
all the
think
stupid
Eric has another
dumplings.
question for.
Yeah, I vaguely
Aaron here.
remember.
He says,
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good.
All right,
And then
I'm
we had
a-
the
I'm
sliced
a-
pizza.
I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. I'm a dork. Whatever you want to call it. I was a concert violinist. So I don't play like cool hardcore music, and I don't play like awesome rock and roll or even jazz. I was Paganini and Mozart, Vivaldi, and
That's cool.
the
That's cool too, man.
ensemble and chamber orchestra and all of that.
I used to sing in my friend's ska band whenever they did Real Big Fish. She has a girlfriend now.
See, Pedro, I told you. We were just talking about this yesterday.
Like, Real Big Fish is not a band that a man should like. You know what I mean? Like, I understand.
He was saying like when you get introduced to music, you're like, oh, Real Big Fish is good, but then you hear other bands that have a little bit more mature sound, hardcore sound, and you look back on yourself and you're like, wow, I was I really liked that like limp-wristed Pantera stuff when I was younger.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it'll
but-
always have a special place in my heart. But
Yeah, I understand.
Less than
Like,
Jake
what
is
I
my
was telling Nev, like, will you wear the t-shirt?
oh yeah,
She hasn't
I
worn
will.
it.
That-
I totally
that's
still
the-
do.
That and Less Than Jake. She
Yeah,
collects
Less Than Jake is my
t-shirts.
favorite.
Yeah.
There is not a single bad album that Less Than Jake has put out. I will listen to all of them. But Pestcore is okay, but that's more the recording quality than like the songs. But I will listen to all of their stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
but
In With the
honestly,
Out Crowd isn't great. You're right. Okay,
Yeah.
I rescind my statement, but I'm still loyal.
We've covered a little bit of our history, how we met, how we fell in love. You learned a little detail about my past that nobody knows except
Yeah.
for
Now
you two.
everybody
And now
knows.
Eric, right? And now Eric.
Yeah, but
what
do
else you want to know?
Still play? Do you still play the violin, or is that?
I'm
like
out of practice, but yeah, I was actually playing during the Mavericks campaign. I was playing. I picked it
cool.
back up. And yeah, it's been a couple of months since I touched it last. But yeah, I was getting back into the Monty's Chardash.
So like when he says this, like, "Oh, I'm rusty," it is like rusty in his mind. Anyone
not-
listening to him play would be
Bro,
like,
it's not concert
"That
level.
sounds amazing."
But yeah, it's not. It's not.
But that's the
when-
thing.
I
Like,
mean,
when you've been playing for so long, people say, "Oh my god, you're so good." It's like, dude, I'm rusty as fuck. What are
I
you talking
suck.
about?
Yeah, he's like,
It's
"No,
not
this
right now,
sucks compared to what I used to play."
I'm not nearly like up to tempo. This is down tempo from what it's supposed to be. My fingers are rusty. Like everything is bad. But when I went to school in New York, I grew up in Manhattan. There was a little bit of a high pressure environment where I grew up,
Gotcha.
and so I played violin for a very long time, and it was a definitive fixture of like who I was growing up. So there's a lot of focus on the performing arts in my family, and so I take it. Like you said, you get a particular mentality if you're a performer or like a concert performer that you're like, oh, I suck, and people are like, no, you sound good. Yeah, no, I suck.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I mean, I'm not the same level as you, but like anytime I sing in a performance, I'm like,
yeah, but you still sing. That's the thing.
Yeah,
you still actually have like you still have a what are they, the singing place, the thing you do with the Broadway people.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I just
you have a Broadway chorus
that
you're part of.
Same,
they like perform every year. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, cool. So you both are musicians, and because I think
the skin flute, maybe.
the skin flute, yeah. So okay, so both of you being musicians, does that affect the way you approach producing comic books and art in general?
I don't know.
Because it does affect me.
I think that there's a particular type of attention to detail and perfectionism that comes with the repetition, and practice element that comes out of music, that when you're doing any other type of art, you become a little bit more attentive to the details. And like I said, like I feel like I suck. She says that I don't suck. I probably sound fine, but in my mind, this isn't as good as it could be. This isn't as good as I would like it to be. And so all of those little details and stuff, they kind of jump out when you're working in comics, right? Like I'll go back and I'll look at my dialogue that I write, and it's never as good as I want it to be, right? Like that's
the thing.
The layouts that I design are never as good as I want them to be.
Okay, there's a thing that happens to me, and I think I'm nuts. So that's why I want to run this by you, because you're musicians too. When I'm doing storytelling, I gotta find a rhythm within the page.
Oh yeah,
which is very akin to music. Like
tempo.
The beat,
exactly. You got to find the tempo.
The beats from
pacing.
panel to panel.
Yep.
The beats from panel to panel have to match, and I use music knowledge to make that work. So I don't know if you have a process similar to that, or should I go see a doctor?
No. You're absolutely on the money. I also have a film background, so I also see it through that lens of beats and cuts. So when you have a moment that you're trying to capture as a still frame, something's going to come immediately after that. And in film, it's continuous running time. So you've got a page instead of time. What kind of storytelling, what thought are you communicating on this page, and how many panels does that break down into? Because those panels, like you said, have to hit one beat after the other in a series of punctuated statements, like the rhythm of a song, or clips in a succession of frames for
a metronome.
Yeah, exactly. Within a rhythm. Yeah, within a tempo.
And one thing we do, which I actually highly suggest everyone does, is have someone other than you read your dialogue out loud to hear what it sounds like.
Cadence is a big problem for a lot of people. Me too. I have her read. I have lots of people read my stuff out loud, because cadence and phonesthetics are an important part of anyone doing dialogue. So in stage performance, it's the same thing. Like everyone's like, oh my God, Shakespeare was so great. Yeah, it's because the dude really paid attention to the cadence of his writing. It's prose, but it sounds like poetry.
Yes.
Yeah, and the iambic pentameter, really.
Yeah, and it's the stress on the beats. And and does it flow.
I grew up playing drums, and for me, my sense of internal rhythm has been something that I definitely rely on for pacing and writing. It's just like basically pulling out of the center of your chest in a way, maybe from your heart in a sense, but it's definitely like, I rely a lot on that. Say hello to the chat real quick, guys. We got.
Hey, Shadowhawk! It's been a while, buddy. Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, dude. That guy's a
Bush
mensch.
1G. What's up, Bush? First time, I believe, seeing you around these.
Bush.
Yeah, Bush. He's not spelled like that, Bush, Pedro. Keep your...
Yeah, dude.
Glycerine.
Don't play with my heart.
Is that Bush? Is Bush glycerine?
Yes.
Glycerine.
Yeah.
Listerine.
Listerine.
Okay, cool. All right. So what does Eric say? I like talking to the Madness chat through chat pop-ups. Eric is quite a bit of
There you go.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric's
We
great.
enjoy Eric.
Eric and
greatly.
Mo are my two number ones.
Yes.
Like Eric is my favorite hater, Mo is
Oh,
my
God.
favorite troll. And this
Nice.
community would not be nearly what it is without
That's
them. It would be
fun.
boring.
They both
Yeah.
make the chat so
Right.
much better.
They do. There's a lot of great creators
Oh,
out
yeah.
here, but like with Eric, Eric's a fan. You
Yeah.
know, and Eric will give it to you straight. Like, I like this, I don't like this. This is what I want, that is
Yeah.
what I don't want.
Which
And
I
it
really
is so
appreciate.
helpful when you talk to someone like that because they literally are giving you the keys to the kingdom of how to get them to buy your shit. It is so
shit.
useful.
Right.
Indeed,
You gotta
that's
you
another
gotta
thing.
listen to them.
Yeah, that's another theory that I have. Like, there are great creators everywhere, but active communities, not so much. You know, or at least like the communities are just or telling you're a bigot or stroking your ego. Like here, we get like lots of trolling, but I feel like there's genuine criticism and everybody's growing. Like everybody's project
Yeah.
is looking way better than the last, and I'm
Yep.
getting
Yep.
like
I think there's
performance anxiety. Yeah.
I think there's a lot less interaction and I mean, a community is the word, but it's more like I think in other genres or types of YouTube content, there's not really a sense of cooperation. It's I think a lot of people look at each other as competition, and
Yeah.
Right.
you just
Okay,
won't
let-
even
let's-
entertain the idea of
We're
Go ahead,
more
go ahead.
cooperation,
Yeah.
right? Like we're cooperative competition.
Right.
That and
Yeah.
everybody seems to have a channel, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we go on each other's channels all the time, and if you're not on the channel, you're in the chat. So it's like you're checking in with people on the regular. You can see them, and if someone's
Yeah.
absent, like I haven't seen Jake in a while, I'll be like, "Holy crap, where you been? Good to see you." Like there's always like a familiar face kind of presence element to it. Like I see both of you around all the time, so hanging out with you on the on a show like this. It's you know, it's almost like just going to hang out with your friends.
Yeah,
and I
we-
think that
I just-
lends itself to the familiarity within the community, but it's also a professional space. So
Yeah.
sometimes it doesn't work so well, but when the marriage of the two is good, it becomes like a colloquial professional element, and I like that.
Yeah, between creators and between I don't want to call it a community because that sounds like we're communist. We're not. So with the customer base, let's just say, to be more of a give it like a capitalist angle.
Well, it's also like for creators, there's a sense of community because it's like we team up on shit all the time. The
Yeah.
two of you, you met because of like I think it was Pops, maybe the show that you met each other on, or through, or Madness Network, I don't know. But you two started hanging out. You decided to do
Yeah.
a show, teamed up on the book, right? And then like out of that came your friendship. That's community, right? That,
Yeah.
in my opinion, that's community. Like
mean,
people
haven't had the
congregating
difficulty-
around a common interest and then making relationships blossom out of that then become professional relationships. Like if I hired you to do a trailer for me, it's because I know you from this crowd of people that I hang out with.
Gotcha. Yeah, 'cause that's the thing. Like I haven't had like I'm not in jacuzzi level with Ginge yet.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't want it. I'm just saying it hasn't happened yet. But yeah, we're working together, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I did a trailer for him first. Like he contacted. I don't know where he saw me, but he said
that
like,
was
hey,
off of the Ryan Wynn Death Curse.
yeah, it
Off
was
the
on-
Yeah,
Death
yeah.
Curse.
yeah. 'Cause
Where
my-
did Ryan go, man? I got Hammerella. I missed the pirate show. The pirate ship.
life got in the way. With
Yeah.
Ryan. Like he's taking care of stuff, but it's very like personal, so I don't really want to go into it. But it's life stuff, and he's good. But
Okay.
he's
Good, as
not
long as
able
he's
to make,
good.
like, that many
I've seen like a post
cool
here and
dude.
there from him,
comments.
but yeah, both Hammerella and the other one,
He did Hammerella, Guts and Gears.
Gods and Gears. That was it. Yeah, Gods
Gods
and
and
Gears, man.
It's
That one
awesome,
impressed
dude.
me. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
awesome.
And he's a
I
cool
love the
dude. I
fact-
liked
yeah.
chatting with him when we met
Yeah.
him.
What I love about Gods and Gears is this has like this Johnny Quest element to it. Like it's like retro but futuristic. And dude, like it was. I love the designs on that series. But I mean, he wasn't able to continue it on Alterna, and I don't know if it's gonna continue it elsewhere. I would love to see like a compounded like
He's
Like a trade,
he's
like a
coloring
volume.
for people
Yeah.
right now on I don't remember the name of the book, but it's actually on a pretty cool label. It's John Carpenter's got a comic book label with his wife, and he's been coloring some books over there.
Oh, cool.
Neat. Yeah, that's a great
awesome.
professional contact to put in your Rolodex.
Hey, what's up, Robo?
Yeah, Romo's in the house. He's
Yeah.
our partner. He says, "Hi, fellas. Hi, chat. Also, hi, lady, of course."
Yeah.
All right, let's. Eric
That's right, I
says
could be a
some,
fella. Just for today.
That's what I like about this community.
Just for today, Neff. You're gay, buddy. Sorry.
There's a
Happens.
lot of there's a lot of
You know,
collaboration.
sometimes you're gay, sometimes you're not.
Yeah, the thing like with the gayness is the hour. Just after a certain hour, they just
Everyone's gay after midnight, baby.
yeah, exactly. Like that
Especially on Christopher Street.
But no, let's. Eric chimes in here. He says, "That's what I like about this community. There is a lot of collaboration between creators and what seems to be
Yes.
genuine friendships that sprout of it."
Yeah, and you get also fights too.
You do get
Oh
some-
yeah,
he
yeah.
says,
People get into fights.
Yeah,
I also
I
met
love
really
that.
great people from this community too. I consider Vanessa, Amanda, Stippling, Vaughn,
Playing Vaughn.
Tipping Vaughn.
Yep.
Yeah.
my e-friends. That sounds so gay. Well, nothing gay about it. Come on. You can have
I mean,
friends.
It does.
Dude, e-friends. The word e-friends does, it absolutely sounds
Different
gay.
sounds.
Yeah.
It does
I
feel
agree with
weird,
Aaron.
But, I mean,
But that's okay. It's
That's
okay to be
what
gay
being an
sometimes.
person too. So,
Exactly. You're like gay, born a gay,
That's what I am.
born again gay. Yeah.
I love Jake Twister, man. I love that guy. He's hilarious.
He is also
Yeah.
an e-friend.
He's an e-friend. He's
Speaking
shares
of
our passion for
I
Daniel
hate
Warren Jones.
Sorry.
E-friend. I hate that shit. You're my e-friend. That sounds like some like Care Bear shit. Like you get like a t-shirt for it.
Whenever someone says it, I just think
He
of
snorts.
e-thought. And then it's
E-thought,
just
yeah,
like,
e-thought.
well, that's cringy too. So the
Yeah, it's like,
association,
ooh.
I guess. I don't know.
I'd rather be an
You saying Eric
e-friend
is
or an
cringe? I
e-thought,
thought
I
he was
guess.
awesome.
An e-thought, yeah.
E-thoughts make more money.
Yeah, unless I'm making good money as an e-thought, I might just
I mean,
be.
They will never be able to work as anything else ever again. But yeah, they make a lot of money.
What
Just
else
save
you need,
it.
Bubba? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, save
No,
your
but
money.
speaking of things that are not gay, right? Let's
Okay.
throw this up here on the screen. Got
Yeah.
Judah.
Hey,
Oh
the
yeah.
Judex.
We're close to
So close with a week left.
I'm
So
sure
close
you-
to the 10K
I'm sure
mark.
you've done
Mhm.
a million pitches at this point, but I was hoping we could sort of talk a little bit about the historical element of, the creation. This obviously it's a rooted in historical piece. It's a
So
if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken,
it's
also a right.
the history behind Judex is a funny one. So I'm gonna look for a picture here on the internet. I should always have this thing ready to go. Originally, the character who is now in public domain. Yeah, look, we show up on Google.
That's because I haven't
This.
done it.
There we go.
It's a hell
I'm
of a
going
character
to
to be
bring
on
this
public
up for
domain.
you.
Yeah.
Very cool looking.
Show image in new tab. Share. Where's the button? This
He's
here.
like, I'm pressing all the
Present.
buttons,
Good,
and I
yes.
have to tell you what I'm
Too
doing
many
while I do
things.
it.
Don't put the screen.
image.
Gonna hack into
Okay.
the mainframe.
So this is the original Judex silent film image. So this is the remake, the 1963 version of the original 1916 serialized black and white silent film. That dude with the hat and the cape is Judex. So as you can see, he looks very different from the Judex that we're doing now.
I mean, he still has a cap and a cape.
Yeah, he doesn't wear this.
This is not, no.
This is not on his face. This wonderful mask with the chains and the texturing and everything. Here, let me switch my camera so that you can
Oh, dude, that's
actually
so
see
cool.
this a little bit
Put it
better.
on, dude.
Wow.
You can see the texturing, right? The texturing is actually chains also. It's also
Oh, nice.
printed
They're
chain.
just small.
And then this is the chains. This is supposed to like embody or represent the scales of justice. Odin did the majority of the work on the character design. He designed the concept for the mask, the original concept art. He came up with the idea for the Widow, which is go back. I wasn't done with my computer yet. I got to show them this real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because this is what the people have come to see.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
See this. This is the deconstructed replica revolver. As you can see, there's no trigger in right now. There's no hammer.
Beautiful.
The internals are all going in here, and they're getting right. We took them out. We gutted the thing because we wanted to do some stress testing on the other model. But this is the one that's on the campaign. We're printing and painting these all by hand. They're available for purchase on one of the tiers. But so Odin came up with kind of like the idea behind this. I, of course, had to get the particular elements of, it being a cult peacemaker, get the physical elements for the design, break that down, find the files to make a physical peacemaker, since I wanted to do props. I wanted to do cosplay stuff. I wanted to do merch that's rooted in the fiction, right? Not just T-shirts and mugs and stuff. I wanted to do cool collectible things that come out of the story, out of the fiction. I've always wanted to and had a desire to do that with my series. Like with Mavericks, you got the little pins, right? Yeah. Those are like, those are the flags of the nations in the book. The patches, the same thing. Those are the world patch, the different nations that are at war patches. Like, so that's all like, it's not the right word, but like it's a contextual, diegetic almost element to the fiction where it's inherently part of it, and the merch is not just merchandise about the series, but merchandise from the series. So I've always wanted to do that.
Hey, Maverick, do me a favor and hold that gun back up there again.
Yeah, you got it. Here you go.
You can't tell me you didn't get that hairstyle from the coif.
No, we got it. We got it from a painting of Lemarion, which is a French painting in the French Revolution. But I could definitely see Coif. I could definitely see Coif's his gray flowing mane. Yeah.
Somebody give the Coif a croissant so we can see.
Right. Like he's a little bit more Asian inspired than he is French, if I recall. But I'm going to show you this little thing. This comes on the basic tier, the $20 basic tier. This is Lemarion collectible coin that's on that tier. So as you can see with the hair and the laurel that's on her head, that's also Lemarion. And it is the facing of a French franc, but then the back is a custom design, which has the French motto, the scales of justice, and the word justice on there. No, pops in and out because he's producing the show, so he's backstage.
They don't understand. I got control.
He's got control, baby.
Nobody kicks Pop. He kicks himself.
So the idea is, Judex was a 1916 silent film character who had his own story about an evil banker that he was trying to get revenge on because the banker had ruined his father. And it was like a convoluted sort of Count of Monte Cristo style plot.
Yeah.
When Odin was researching the Shadow, because the Shadow's going into public domain in like a couple years, I think it's 2027 or 2029, something like that. And Odin has like a huge boner for the Shadow. The Shadow, Captain America, and Captain Marvel, Shazam, are like. Oh, at that end, like all Roman Greek literature and storytelling and everything like that. If you ever want to talk to Odin, bring that stuff up, and he just won't shut up for hours. But Odin really likes.
I once was talking with Odin. I just say like the Punic Wars and left. And
mic drop, and I'm out. So, you just turn off your camera and leave. Come back an hour later, and he's still talking. Oh, it's great. But he loves the Shadow, and the thing is that Judex, a lot of people, as you saw in the still, think that maybe the design of the Shadow was influenced by Judex. In fact, the creators are on record saying that that they looked at Judex, that Judex in a way inspired them to create the Shadow, or at least inspired the look. And then during World War II, when the Nazis occupied France, the French ran American Shadow comic strips under the name Judex. So the character that had inspired the Shadow then borrowed the Shadow as its identity during World War II. And that's kind of where this thing sort of came together, and Odin was like, cultural defender of Paris. He redesigned the character's look. He set him in a new location. He put him up against a different foe. He gave him like a new motivation entirely to defend his people and to save his nation and to preserve their culture. And he wrote a story. It was like an 18-page story, and he showed it to me, and he's like, this is awesome. And I'm like, yeah, but let's make it a comic. Let's make it a book. Let's do a thing.
Because when he wrote it, it was written
as prose.
As prose.
He was originally, it was going to be a comic book. He was originally working with an artist who liked the idea of not being told where the page breaks were, not being told what panels were there. And you remember how we were talking earlier about rhythm and pacing and beats and all of that? I think that if you're a writer and you're working with an artist, it's important for the two of you to come up with that language, that understanding of what is the rhythm of this book? What is the pacing supposed to feel like? What are the beats of punctuation we want to hit on this page? And the best way, in my experience, to do that is when you're writing a script, to break it down by pages with panels to communicate a direct thought.
And the thing is,
that way,
you don't tell like the position of the panels, the size of the panels.
Right. No, you let the artist do that. I tell you what is on the page. The page that I just did with Hector, two mechs jump out. There's a crossfire on the top panel. One guy goes left, one guy goes right. Kind of dodging in that same panel. There's a counter shot, and then a fist bump. And the fist bump is that final mark of punctuation at the end of the page that completes this thought. And I didn't tell him how to do it. But when an artist comes back to me with a composition that is very close to what I have in my mind when I write those pages and I'm seeing the page, I know we're in tune with each other. I know we're harmonizing. I know we're on the same level, right? And it makes it very easy then to write for them because they're picking up what I'm putting down and I've got their back on any of the details. So that's why I'm like, okay, well, it's a story. But if you're not using that artist, it needs pages, it needs beats, it needs panels and layouts for you to work with anybody else. So you're going to need that. You're going to need art direction. And while we're at it, why don't we go in and hammer on the dialogue a little bit? I didn't change any of the things that happen. Everything in the story is the way that it happens. He did a wonderful story about this French policeman and his encounter with Judex. We just told it in a very particular way with a lot of attention to detail to really polish this up and make it shine, because I felt like that's really what this deserves. I mean, fucking look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I saw this project on Sugar Chris's channel, and this guy is fighting Vichy France, right?
He's fighting Nazi occupation. He's fighting the Vichy police.
The Vichy police. So that element of history within France is very, very, very dear to me, because the thing is okay, so I'm gonna pull out my dork credentials. I played a game like 8 years ago, Mutants and Masterminds, which is like a D&D.
Oh, dude! Love that game.
Yeah, and I created.
Jude X.
Jude X actually means.
It means justice in Latin. That's
Justice
where the
in
name
Latin,
comes from.
Yeah, but I made a French Batman that like his father fought Vichy France, and then he came up with this. He was called like Sulleku, and he had 2 guns, and he had a hat, and he was like,
like the Shadow, man.
Yeah.
It's like the Shadow. The Shadow's got the 2 guns. He's got Colt 45s, and he's got the hat. We went a little bit more old school.
Yeah.
He also has
the thing is, this is a very old drawing. It's very pixelated. So, did you want to share like this drawing?
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, man, I can see it.
This is like 15 years old.
Dude, that's great, though.
Yeah.
I totally get the feel off of it for what you're playing.
Yeah, and the thing is,
I would have had so much fun running that game for you, man. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
or
Dude,
playing with you. Either one.
Yeah.
It would have been great.
Yeah, like his Batmobile was the Escargot, and
Escargot.
the
Escargot.
I love that.
The Escargot, and he had a sub called the Horizon, and he like, and he's like, taste majesties. So yeah. So when I said Judex, like it just brought a smile to my face. It's like, dude, like this is like a heartbeat of a character. Like it's very recognizable. You see it in the shadow. You see it in Judex. You see it in dude. I wasn't even like I knew the shadow, but I didn't know Judex existed.
Yeah,
And you see, like,
he's not really well known. That's why he's already public domain. They actually did something with him in DC a while back with the series Masks, I believe.
Okay.
I believe they got a whole bunch of public domain characters together, and they had them like have a one shot, mini series adventure, and they put out a book about them.
Oh, cool.
And it was like the Spider, and I think Black Fury was in it, but I don't remember if they called her Black Fury.
They called her
or not.
Miss Fury at that point.
Fury.
They had Judex, they had Black Terror, they had so like it was just that run of pulp-esque superheroes. Now, if we had Aldous in here, Aldous would remind everyone that they're not really pulp because they come after the time that is considered pulp, so they're not really pulp heroes. But we all call them pulp heroes because we're garbage people and we don't care. We like cool stuff. We really don't care about that element unless you get really nerdy, and that's what Odin is for. So know how you said that like the time period is very important for you and the historical element.
That's all.
Yeah, that's all on Odin. Odin loves this time period and he loves French culture, and so for him, expressing the authenticity of that is a significant part and element to the story. And then when I came in, I'm like, hey, let's. Yep.
No, because the thing is, like, I don't know if you're gonna continue with this.
We
I
are.
don't know what their story goes. Like, I'm getting this book, but I would love to see Judex in the aftermath of World War II, when the revenge started, and they started shaving women's heads and hunting down Nazi sympathizers within the French. It's French hunting French. How would Judex react to that situation? So there's a lot
that would be
of
very interesting
drama.
because I think Judex is justice.
Right.
Yeah,
So the question is that justice? Now, whenever I come at it whenever I'm writing the character with Odin, I come at it from the perspective of, for France, for Lemarion, is this what justice demands? So if it's persecution, that's not justice.
That's not justice.
But the widow was made out of the guillotine that ended the French Revolution, right?
Yeah.
That's justice. Violence for sure, but justice. And just as Judex is judging the Vichy police officer, Javert, in the first issue, and saying, hey, you abandoned your country. Why did you turn your back on France? You have betrayed her and the people. You're now selling out your own to the Nazis. I'm here to fucking end you. There's a reason that Judex is there, not just for Javert's guilt, but there's a reason it's Javert and not one of 100 other cops, right?
Exactly.
Like, so Javert, there's something meaningful about him, and that's the part of the issue that you don't see. I cut it off right before they start talking. So I have no problem showing you the first 10, 12 pages of, look, isn't this awesome? Because that's all leading up to the actual part of the story, which is the back 16 pages.
The pages that are actually on the campaign, we don't have the very first page because there's a
giant swastika on the front.
There's a giant flag. So we figured that wasn't
I could
work.
show it to you. We could get like the channel struck or something. I don't know.
And we had to take another page down because
I look Bavarian.
it was too violent.
So, it would be like, oh my god,
it's actually a really good intro to the story as far as the writing.
I'd say, but if you click on the link on the campaign, it'll bring you to Global Comics, and that has the first 12 pages.
Oh, cool.
Including the ones that we had to take down from
the TIFFs
the
of the lettered
Indiegogo.
files, right? The TIFFs of the lettered files and the
No, you have to go.
oh, that's under the
under
lettered files.
yeah.
Derp. One is JPEGs, one is TIFFs, one is
is
lettered
letters.
files.
Yeah.
Come on, organization is important, people. Here, let me share this with you.
I mean, it literally says
It literally says
letters,
this. Yeah, I
so-
know the folders are what the folders are. You expect that I read? No, I just
that's
write.
fair.
I don't know how to read. There you go.
I love married couples. So, so you guys, who's your artist?
This is Fabrizio Ugolini. Again, Odin found
in
this
Italy.
artist. He's in Italy. He's
Oh, with
really
a name
great
like that,
at-
he better be in Italy.
yeah, Ugolini. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I
He's done
think
stuff for heavy metal.
he has done stuff for heavy metal. This is his
Well, it is,
second like solo series where he's the only artist on the book, and it's he is the artist, and it's been a lot of fun to work with him and do layouts with him and collaborate with him on how to show pages, because he's really good at picking up the intent. Sometimes the execution is debatable, but it's always fun to go back and forth and work on something with him until we get it just right. And finding like a compromise for the right element, because like you said, those panels are the beats in the composition. They must be within the tempo that we're using for the story. So if they're not on the beat, right, if they're kind of like irrelevant or not properly shown to communicate the point of that panel, because everything's there for a reason. They need to be redone. Like if if the point of this panel is to show this person's shocked expression as he turns to look over his shoulder, we can't be showing it from a direction that isn't the looking over his shoulder.
We need to see his face.
And also the previous panel needs to establish him staged in the environment in such a way with his feet on the ground that we know where he's looking from what he's looking towards.
Right.
So all of that is part of this compositional element that needs to be expressed in layouts. And when you get into that minutia, sometimes even if you're in sync, in tune, there needs to be some sort of discussion about the collaboration on the page.
Yeah.
Here, I shared this with you so you can read the. This
You don't
is the
have
very
to
first.
put it up.
You don't have to put it up, but
it is the.
but put it up. Do you hear it too, I wonder? The ragged gasps of this city in decay. Too weak to mourn the cruel twist of fate that on this night, an anniversary to mark the death of tyranny, Paris finds itself yoked to a yet more wicked regime. So this is the first page. That is a dope-ass city skyline. Fabrizio killed that skyline.
Yeah.
It looks so good. And then, of course, it's a very big statement of, the occupation of France. But I also like that lyrical intro, right? Like it reads really well. That's the quality to Judex's narrative voice. I try and grab V for Vendetta. I know the Shadow has like the mystique to him and like the justice and fighting for this and that. But when I see Judex, I hear V for Vendetta and his eloquence and his flair for the dramatic. And this is freaking France, guys. Like you're not gonna get any more than here in this setting. So I have to go.
Yeah, but the shot, what you were saying, the flag, and the in my head, I was listening to the Die Kriegsmarsch.
Yeah, the Kriegsmarsch. Yeah.
It sounds like goofy, but it's ominous. Like, oh my god, we're screwed. Like it gave me that.
I love how you get a tune in your head when you're reading because of the ambiance from the page touches something in your mind which is sparked because you love music. Music is your thing. So I love how that sparks the musical element for you. For someone else, it might be, a different song, or it might be a film that they get kind of like a vision of, but at least then I know that what we're doing as a creative endeavor is
It's
working because it's interacting with the audience and they're getting an experience, a reaction from the page. So thank you for letting me know that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, the dome was very cool. Like that. I want to do as an experiment, like recommended soundtracks for reading comic books.
Odin has an entire soundtrack that he listens to when he's working on Judex.
Maybe he wants to make one for reading.
Oh, for reading, just for reading.
I like that.
That's a good
For
idea.
reading. So it's like, okay, like you want to hear like the pacing, like chapter 1, listen to Brahms' Days Movement, that kind of stuff. Because I don't know, like I'm a very musical guy, and even though I don't look it, and not like I play hard, but I listen to a lot of classical music and a lot of like zarzuela.
I think that adds a whole nother sensory level to it. There's a comic book series put out by Aftershock called We Live. And the first arc of it is beautiful and heartbreaking, and I love it. The second arc, in my opinion, kind of goes off the rails. But the first arc, I adore.
Dude, it's great.
And And
it's really good.
they had a QR code in it where there was two brothers, I can't remember their names, that worked on it together, and they created music to go along with it. And when you got to this page, I had read it through
Queued
once.
you up to
And
listen.
it was like it was a strong scene. And I went back and I reread it, and I hit the QR code, and it started to play, like, and I read it with the music. I was bawling.
That's film.
Like
That
was
right
just
there is film.
it was so I love that idea of having like the
You're
soundtrack
channeling
to go along with it.
another sense that is stimulated.
It's another sensory layer.
The emotions, because music is really something that gets to your core, your emotions. Art can words, as we process them, and the meaning of words, the power of words. Writing absolutely does that, but music on top of it, then the visual spectacle, that's the power of a film. And music in film is not to be underestimated. It is tonally the vibration of a note, what cuts right through you, and that frequency that gets you in the heart is what makes all of your emotions pour forth. They just hit that ding, that one right note, and the tears just go.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like books like this, like I would definitely come up with like recommended songs, and it shouldn't be like, oh, buy the soundtrack, whatever. No, just like I said, like this is what it done to me. It, as a writer, like what it does to you, and say like, okay, check this movement by Prokofiev, like the Rise of the Three Oranges, or listen to Brahms, or like that kind of stuff. And not every book does this to me. Like mostly when I see something like this.
Sorry, he's reading the comments.
Yep.
So
That's
Twister
that's a good point.
Here. I'm not sure who. Forgive me. Let me
Maurice
be the
Papon?
idiot in the group here. Yeah, who is this? Who's Maurice Papon?
Maurice Papon wasn't like the
The
superintendent.
French civil servant and Nazi collaborator who was convicted of crimes against humanity during the occupation of France.
Yeah, he was like a superintendent, and he worked really close with Klaus Barbie, I think.
There was also
Klaus
a serial killer at the time who posed as a guy who was helping people flee France. So he was selling services like almost like an underground railroad to smuggle people out, and then he just murked them and steal their stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's that guy too. I would love to fuck. I would love to have Judex fuck him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you also can't you obviously can't have him interact with someone who in the timeline where Judex would have, if he like got close enough to enact judgment, would the bullet would fire, right? So you can't really do that out of the timeline. So there's also stuff that like maybe happens in the future, because this isn't, I mean, it's not like real life, but it's still like
It's
you kind of
set
want to keep
historically,
right.
So we can't have him kill Hitler.
Right, exactly.
I mean, although we
But I
could,
mean,
because it's supposedly a self-inflicted gunshot.
Right, but I'm saying, but that wouldn't be like in here, because it's not in the timeline. So you'd also have to like, there may be certain characters that if we did something like that with, it would have to be later on.
I know Odin wants to end this arc with Charles de Gaulle returning to France and dropping the French flag again, flying over France, and not the Nazis, the flags. So that's kind of where we're going with the ending of the series. But there are a lot of different little serialized individual issues that are all connected leading up to that.
Right,
like each one being self-contained.
Yeah, so each issue is a whole story, but there's also
a little bit.
You can
A little bit,
we kind of tease what maybe you'll see in the next issue.
I like doing a full story, like the first I think it's 20 pages is start to finish the story of Javert, and then there's an 8-page 22, and then there's a 6-page epilogue. And the epilogue sets up the meta plot in the background for all of this. So you don't actually have to pay attention to that, because that will come to light later on in the issues. When the meta plot starts taking over. But the serialized element, that's also harkening back to the original movie serial, right? It was a serialized series of silent films that were connected, but not directly continuations of each other. So that's what we're doing with the story.
This would be a suggestion, and maybe I'm overstepping, but I just like the whole element of a serial killer in the middle of a world war, like the whole element.
I'll go with it. Yeah.
Demon in the candy store. So let's just say he was never caught. So this is a case for him after the war. Like people were like, dude, where's my family? Like they were supposed to go, and then Judex goes in and starts fighting like the belongings. Like, wow, they were killed. Who did this? So it's like a whole retrospect. So you'll see his actions in flashbacks.
Did you ever see the movie Monuments Men?
Yeah.
So so we're drawing off of some of that. There's also another movie. There's a really rough scene in that movie where they see the teeth.
Yeah.
They see all of the little golden, knots in a bucket, like little chunks of gold, and they're like, "Oh man, what are these?" And it dawns on them, those are the gold fillings from the teeth, and it just like. It just hits you so well. Yeah. And so I want moments like that, and a realization of what is going on in the world. And Odin's knowledge of history comes in there and really like can bring out the what do we have historically to draw on here? What do we have to play with? Because it's storytelling, bro. You want to tell a good story, but storytelling is grounded a little bit in truth, right?
Yeah. Those are the best ones. You get a little bit, a hint of truth, and then creativity comes in, and then like, okay, how it happened? That's like,
yes, Jake.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
I mean, like,
especially since he's a defender of Parisian culture, which also means stolen art. Which also, I mean, so there's a story about a tapestry that was stolen by Himmler and hung in his castle and everything, and there like they had to he abandoned his castle and left it behind, but there was this whole thing about like liberating this tapestry from him. So there's like a whole lot to draw on here with this element of culture. And once again, it's that V for Vendetta element of you're coming in telling us we can't be who we are, stealing our culture away, silencing us under the threat of violence, dragging our people off to God knows where to punish them if they speak out against you. Something is definitely wrong. And we have Judex, the embodiment of justice, to stand against that tyranny and liberate France by convincing the people there is a way to fight back against them at the core of this comic book, which for me is really significant, especially given the time period we're living in.
Dude, you know, if you go to the north of Argentina today, you can find like fully like Bavarian towns, and there's this area called Mendoza where there's descendants of Nazis who live like perfectly good lives, and they have French art because they stole it. So dude, Judex in Argentina coming back at you, dude. The possibilities are endless with this character. Like I'm loving this concept so much.
Yeah, me too.
It's a really rich character.
It's one of the reasons that I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm investing. Let's make this book, because we did all of the budget up front, all of the budget for development on pages. I paid Odin for the story.
Yeah,
right?
we paid him in advance.
I paid him in advance, and then I'm paying him again upon completion of the campaign. I paid for all of the development of the art, the props, the figure that we're doing, everything, because I believe in the story, and I'm just going to do it entirely out of pocket. The crowdfunding campaign is sort of like pre-orders and a chance for you to get really cool stuff that's not going to stores like this. I will not be selling this in a store.
That won't even go to Kickstarter.
No, this will not be. This can't go to Kickstarter.
We are.
This is your last chance to get this. 7 days, and this vanishes.
Yeah, we will be doing a Kickstarter later in September, but the Widow will not.
Yeah, they don't let you do replica weapons of any kind, even
as a cosplay
non-functioning cosplay stuff. Yeah, that and pornography. There are two big rules. Can't do cosplay replica weapons or pornography. But with the amount of pornography on the site,
there is on Kickstarter.
You wonder. You can't do pornography in Kickstarter?
No, it's a rule. It's in their TOS. You can't do hardcore pornography, which, I mean, I've seen plenty of books that have gotten off Kickstarter that wind up having hardcore pornography in them. But yeah, so that's the thing.
I mean,
there are an unlimited number of these because we have yet to print them all. and paint them all, so that
nice.
they're not limited on the website.
Right.
The one thing that is limited is the full Judex, which is the hat, the mask, the gun, and the cape.
And that's because I have to make
It's because she has to make the cape, and the cape is all you have to custom order the fabric for the amount that's necessary to match the measurements and
the
and all
fabric.
of that.
The line. I mean, the outside is just black velvet, which is still really nice.
Really nice.
But the fabric for the interior is gorgeous.
It's that. It's the background.
It's that, but it came out so good on the fabric.
The
it's like
pseudo
a satin.
fleur-de-lis
It's
that
so
aren't real
good.
fleur-de-lis. The gold, that's the fabric.
Do you imagine people going to Walmart to buy frozen pizza wearing that cape?
Oh,
That'd be
absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely. If she'll make me one, I'll do it. I'll stride into Walmart with my
Well, I don't
Judex
think they'll let
mask
you wear the
and my
mask into
Judex
Walmart,
hat
but
and my Judex cape. I'll show up and be like, I
Which
require
way to the four
victuals.
I require 4 cheeses pizza, s'il vous plaît.
S'il vous plaît. Yeah, I can't do a French accent though.
no, he can't. He's
I can do
terrible at it.
German. I can do
He's-
for some
he's
reason I can do
horrible.
German. I just can't do French.
Horrible at it.
Yeah. Dude. No, dude, this character is awesome. It just like reminds me of
The
like,
mask
Phantom.
is going to have webbing
Thank you.
in the back. So we have this back plate
Yeah.
that says Judex on it.
Oh, sweet.
And it has these little spots for like the nylon attachments that have.
this was kinda like
webbing.
we
This
designed
was
it
this
off
was
of
my
his
my
airsoft
prototype
mask.
off my airsoft mask.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I did the interior dimensions. This is just for me. These were enhancements. It's actually, I think they're foam and craft foam on top. They look like sponges. They're not actually sponges.
Exactly. They look like.
But they sit on my cheeks to hold it up. We're just going to be doing the regular liner. I don't know if you can see. There is a regular cloth padding liner on the inside here. So we are going to do cloth lining and padding, but it's the webbing that I think is so important, because I love the design, how it attaches to the back and stays on your face. You can shake your head around and it'll stay on. So
Yeah.
it's
Very
not
cool.
just sort of like a fall off your head kind of.
Yeah. So you can't do the dishes with that thing you showed me.
Right, you can't take the sponges off because they're
No.
not actually sponges. It's
Okay.
foam and then like a
Foam.
thicker
Okay.
craft
Gotcha.
foam.
Gotcha.
And the craft foam you can use a heat gun to mold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's how we do a lot of the prop armor and stuff that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
Although I do
Gonna
also do
get in
that.
there and
You do letter.
very cosplay, sort of put things together.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I mean, we're in our 40s. We've lived interesting lives,
Yeah, we used
man.
to-
When we
we
were in
used
our
to
20s, we used to
Used to
throw
play bopper.
packets of lightning balls, and hit each other with foam swords and wear
Lightning
cosplay armor and go LARPing.
I mean,
Lightning Yeah.
yeah.
we didn't. Although I never played anything that
played a dwarf.
Yes, but I fought with a
hammer.
shield,
Yeah.
and a hammer and a sword.
Shield.
Well, I had to switch to a sword because my hammer is too short and my arms are also short, so I never actually got to hit anyone because I just didn't have the swing. So I switched to a sword.
Yeah, but we worked her on defense. She was very good at blocking, and so we
Okay.
focused
Very
in
good
on that.
shield
Because
maiden.
she's small and she had a nice sized, normal sized shield, but because she's little, like it covers most of her. So she was really good in a phalanx formation. She knew how to fight over her shield. It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, the only battle I've done has been the mosh pit, but
I mean, I've done that too, but
Is your shield
Yeah.
down here? No, I think your shield's in the garage, right? I think your shield's in the garage. Is it over there? I'm
it
gonna go
might be
check.
back there. I don't know.
oh, nice.
I'm
I'm gonna see a shield.
Oh, he's gonna go get it. I'm not even 100% certain if that's where it is, but I think that's where it was because I don't fight anymore.
Dude,
So
you're like, you're like $700, what? $75 from 10K. How many 7 days left?
yeah, we're
you're
really
gonna make
close.
it.
We're close.
Yeah, you're gonna make
This
it.
is mine.
You're gonna make it.
Oh yeah, that's
This
one
is
of
my
Neff's.
shield. I like
Yeah,
the buckler
Ooh.
style full shield. It's a full shield, but it's buckler style,
Nice.
right?
Mhm.
So it's very good and
Yeah.
very mobile. This is Kim's. We added the spikes ourselves.
Well, our friend added
well,
them.
Morris, yeah,
Yeah.
Morris added the spikes.
Yeah.
It's
So this is like a
hilarious.
Spartan shield, right?
Yeah, it's a Spartan shield that's been modified, and
Mm-hmm.
it's good for her because she can get it all the way up to the elbow and
Oh,
then pull in
Yeah.
behind it and sort of turtle up a bit. But
Nice.
it was a spiked shield, so it was also offensive She could use it as a
yeah.
weapon.
Shield
Yeah,
bash.
this was
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Nice.
Very cool.
Never
Great
done
job,
that.
guys.
Never done that. But the thing is,
Yeah,
like, if I
we're
do
geeky
that, the police is gonna
nerds.
take me. Yeah. I feel like if I go with foam weapons to the park, I'm gonna get arrested. It's like,
Well, that's what we used to do. So when we were playing, we lived in New York City. So we would go down to the park with our swords and our shields, and that's because we didn't have a backyard because we lived in an apartment building. So we'd go down to the park and we'd just have fight practice, and it was just cool. Like people would watch us, and they'd be like, and they'd ask us questions, but like the police never came over to us or anything. It was just fun.
what kind of questions did you get? Like, are you okay? Like, what,
No, just be
what
like,
did they ask
what
you?
are you doing? Where did you get that? That's so cool. Like,
Oh, nice. Nice.
one of the
Yeah.
kids in the neighborhood actually started, he came to play with us because he just came over. He's like, oh, that's so cool. Can I try? He's
He's
like,
actually
I do
mixed
martial
martial artist,
arts. And
too.
like, this is so
He
cool.
taught me some Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
I taught him how to fence.
Yeah.
I taught him how to.
Of course, Neff used to actually fence, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm giving away all your secrets.
Yes, I used to
secrets.
be a competitive fencer. Yes,
True.
it's true.
Oh,
I was
nice.
a all-state competitive fencer. I was second in the state 1997, 98. Yeah, I think that's the right dates.
Yeah.
But
The only
yes, I
thing I
was
tried with
competitive
weapons,
foil.
but it's not really competitive because it's just unfair. 'Cause I was in Spain, so they were doing this Montante demonstration. So, you know, like that huge. I think in the Germans called Zeitwinder or something, like that huge sword. But the
Oh,
Spanish,
No, it's
okay.
Y-hander.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
Y-hander.
yeah.
Yeah, it's Y-hander.
So yeah, and in Spain it's called Montante. And dude, it's just like circular motion. Like nobody's touching me. Go fuck yourself. Yeah,
Right.
You're coming with your little sword. Get out of here.
We have a sword that's similar. It's not quite as big as a Zweihander, which the cross guard is massive.
Yeah, it's massive.
We have something
Those swords are
similar
massive.
to it.
Yeah.
But it's,
I did not
things are
use that
giant.
one.
It's like a dragon's. Like if you imagined a sword that
Yeah.
would kill a dragon. It'd be a
Yeah, I
Zweihander.
did not use that one. I had to use little
Yeah,
ones
dude.
because I'm little.
Yeah, but it was funny because they were like showing like this destreza. You know what Spanish destreza is? Like how they turn
Destreza?
Destreza. They turn
Destreza.
Yeah, they turned sword fighting into an equation. So that's why they're like the Spanish tercios were so effective at fighting because they was like very efficient. So like boom boom you're dead, boom boom you're dead, boom boom you're dead, and they grabbed the Montante. It's like Montante. It's a centrifugal weapon, so you don't really strike. You just create a perimeter with it, and whoever comes into that perimeter better be really fast or he's gonna get caught. And dude, like it was impossible. Like they had like 3 guys with rapiers trying to come against
Once
one
again,
guy.
it's all about tempo, right? It's all about
Yeah,
tempo and
exactly.
timing and footwork.
Yeah.
Footwork, man. Footwork.
Yeah.
Dude, but it was freaking scary, man. Like, and the guy wasn't that big. It was like, if you train with your height, you'll be a beast. Like, okay, it's 21st century, okay.
The other there's a sword fighting art eskrima, which
Eskrima, yeah.
is the,
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah,
two
yeah.
batons. I actually
Yeah.
studied some of that because
Oh,
one
cool.
of the fighting styles that I used when we would play was a dual wielder. So
okay.
I had 2 swords instead of a sword and shield or a 2-handed sword. I was wielding 2 swords, and most people don't really use 2 swords effectively. They have
cool.
1 sword and then another sword for just sort of blocking and stabbing when they
Yeah.
get locked up with this one. But I wanted
Yeah,
to
the
be
whole-
like. I wanted to be cool. I wanted to fight like
Yeah.
someone who actually knew how to use 2 swords. So I studied some eskrima to apply that to the offensive technique in LARPing. Now with,
you know
LARP,
that- have you
you're
seen- have you
not
seen-
cutting,
Yeah.
right? You're
Yeah.
not cutting and you're
You
not
have to-
thrusting. You're bopping. You're
Yeah.
tapping,
You're bopping,
right?
yeah.
So eskrima was perfect because eskrima is a lot of like striking and
And you
coming
were good
around.
at it because it's also
yeah.
like raving.
yeah.
Dude, have you seen this is a Spanish movie called Capitán a la Triste.
The
it's-
sad
it's
captain.
Yeah, Sad Wing Captain. Dude, like it's starring by Viggo Mortensen, and he actually speaks Spanish. But dude, it's about the Spanish tercios during the Flanders campaign.
Oh, cool.
And dude,
We'll have to check it out.
campaign.
it's an awesome movie, man. Like you'll see Destreza, like how it was. Like they had this thing called camisadas. Like they would go at night wearing white shirts so they could recognize each other to go into the enemy camp to just like slaughter. And dude, it's like trench warfare in the 17th century, dude. You're gonna love it because you'll see like how Destreza what really was, because they got like the Destreza instructors to teach them how to fight. So yeah, I think you'll appreciate that movie. It's Capitana.
Yeah,
La
I'll have to check it out.
I'm always interested in
Yeah.
new
Yeah.
interesting combat styles and war movies and stuff like that. It always influences me in some way. I mean,
I put it in the chat.
giant robots are very different than French vigilantes, which is also very different than like super soldiers and American, Captain America style characters. But all of it is playing off of that, fascination with the martial, right?
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah.
Captain
I put it in the
Electra.
chat, dude. Like, I would love to hear your opinion on that movie because it's very shocking.
Ginge, I got to run. I got to run. I got to go. I got an appearance on Catch the Craze in a few minutes. So
Oh, cool. Say hi to Duty for me.
Yeah.
I will.
We're getting ready to wrap it up here.
We've been told off by Pops. We gotta get out.
Aw, but we're having so much fun.
Yeah, we're having fun, man. Thanks for being here, man. This was awesome.
Oh, thanks for having us.
First World Comic. What's up, buddy? Thanks for coming by.
Hey.
First world better than being
You guys can keep
better than
going.
the other worlds,
I gotta go.
suppose. No thanks, Pedro.
What's that, Ginge?
All right, Pops. I was just talking some trash, buddy. But it got,
Oh, it's all right.
lost in the sauce.
So,
Yeah,
do you have any other questions before we hop out of here? Is there anything you actually wanted to know that we didn't touch on?
We kind of went
You
off
just
on
kinda,
tangents.
went off on
Sorry.
tangents?
Oh, you make some moolah right now, didn't you?
Oh yeah, we're at 130 now. 130 backers.
Hey,
Thank
awesome.
you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much.
Yay.
Yeah, one of the cool things
Yeah,
about this
we-
campaign is we have a $10 tier.
The GMP sauce.
the GMP sauce. I like it. Yeah. We have a $10 tier, which is the book with free shipping. So you just pay $10 and the book shows up at your house.
That's no stretch goals.
No stretch goals, no add-ons, no anything like that, because we have to keep the weight down in order to make the shipping work with the media mail
Well, you
requirements.
also can't have anything else.
We also
in
can't
there.
have anything in the media mail requirements. And we have a really cool digital tier, which is the digital download through the Global Comics platform, but also 3 months of their paid subscription for free. So it's like having a membership, which is $7.99 a month, but you get 3 months of that for free to read everything that's behind their paywall if you want. So it's like getting, a couple thousand comic books.
Yeah, they have a
digital
lot of
comics
titles on
for
there.
free. Plus our physical, our digital download, which you
Right,
get
which
to
you keep. Even if you don't continue.
Yeah,
with
even if you don't continue the service, you still
Right.
keep the PDF. So I think that's a pretty cool deal too. Those two things were really made me happy because of the accessibility element there. It's very accessible for comic book fans. It's not $25 and 50 pages. It's a 28, 30-page comic for $10,
Yeah, we
and
wanted
half
to-
of it is shipping.
We want to try and make something accessible for lots of different levels. Like
Right,
whether
so
you
that
just
we
wanted
could
the book or you wanted to be a
Also,
collector.
take it to
or-
stores and sell it for $7 if we wanted to, which you can't do with a
Yeah,
a
if you're
$25 comic book,
Right.
which isn't going to sell on the shelves.
And
Yeah.
there's original art on there too.
Yeah.
Dude, this is-
And there's
we gotta
original
find
art of
a
the campaign.
way. Yeah, we gotta find a way to come up with like a cheaper tier to get it on, because I don't think it's fair that we sell this books at $25 to backers
Right.
and then put in on a lower price at LCS. It's like that's a conundrum that I'm not comfortable with at the moment.
I've got answers. I've
Yeah.
got answers. That's, as you can see, like my tier that's $10 and includes
Yeah.
the shipping on the book is ridiculously low priced. Effectively, if shipping is $5, you're getting the book for $5, and it's a $30 book. There's
Gotcha.
something going on there making it accessible.
Mhm.
So I have been looking at answers for this.
Yeah.
The thing that I've also found is, while I love trades, or I love full-length graphic novels, 120 pages, 160 pages,
Yeah.
or in the case of Mavericks, the first half being 74 pages long, right? People at conventions and first-time readers and people who are looking to just like get into the series, they want floppies. They want
Gotcha.
low price, like low barrier of entry, no real financial commitment. They don't want to drop $25 for 100 something pages. They want to drop $5 for 20 pages. So taking those
Okay.
big series and chopping them up, printing them smaller, printing them saddle stitched instead of perfect bound, which is actually cheaper to do,
Okay.
might be more effective down the line because you're moving more issues and you're making up for what you're losing in like price per unit. You're making up for in volume of sales.
Obviously, yeah. I see what you mean. Because the thing is, like, with Waifus and Kaijus, like, dude, it's a big whopper. It's going to be 130 plus
Nice.
pages. But we are doing, since it's so many characters, we're taking a hint from Overwatch, and we're doing like backstories for all of them, and they're going to be like little lash cans of like 12 pages of backstories
Nice.
of every character. So having that printed in little slow form, like, get to know your hero, because I mean, every nation is represented. So if you're into Spain, there's this guy who is like, he comes from a family of bullfighters, but he hates killing bulls. So his mech is a bull. So it's like, I'm only got one with the bull. And
I think it's fantastic.
Cool.
What's the aspect ratio on the book?
the aspect ratio,
Like what are the dimensions of the pages that you're using? Because if you're going to regular comic book size, like six point 6.75 by 11.3 or whatever that is, 10.3.
I use a metric system.
Ah, get out of here! Freedom fractions, baby! Freedom fractions! No decimal points! So like, I could see it being a smaller version of a comic book, like a smaller ashcan size,
Like
also
ashcan size.
cheaper to print, also easier to produce. And if you are going to conventions and you have 12 characters and you have 12 page ashcans, right? That's great. They could buy one. They could buy them all. You could have a set that's
they make it
discounted,
bunch.
15% for buying all of them instead of buying one at a time. You can have a pick 3 special. There are a lot of different ways to sell it, and it's marketing itself. That's what I meant about kaijus and waifus being so great. It is so easy to market that. You could turn that around and be like, and we've got keshis, and we've got figures, and we've got merch, and we've got in-world merch, and there are so many ways to sell the book. There are buttons, there are stickers. It's such a franchisable thing.
Yeah.
And we have a bidding. No, yeah. Well, actually, I'm moving little things down.
You're doing animation for it, yeah, obviously.
No, but
I mean,
no,
it's
but
you.
I wanna make like a Robotech, but like 80s style Robotech video game for waifus and kaijus. Where
Nice.
you have like the mech like sliding like on skates and fighting, like very simple, like an Atari game.
Yep.
'Cause, I mean,
Yeah, side
I got-
scroller. Side scroller or 3 dimensions?
Oh,
A platform.
Not 3D,
Platformer?
it's platformer.
Yeah, platform. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's the start. You start with like a 8 to 16-bit side-scrolling platformer game just to kind of get the franchise feel out there, get people interested in the look, the box art, that kind of stuff, and then you develop it from there. We're starting with tabletop because collectible miniatures games are pretty good, and so are card games. So collectible miniature games, tabletop war games, and RPGs are a really easy way once you do that to then turn around and interest a game developer or a game development studio that you have an IP, the book is successful in stores, it has a reader base, you've got people buying the games, you've got people playing the games, let's make a video game. And it's an easy jumping off point for people who don't make video games like us, but you, on the other hand, you might just do it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So, without further ado, I would like to, for your consideration, present Silvestre Villaverde from Spain.
Oh, the bull!
Oh,
Nice.
it looks so good. I love it.
Love him. He looks so suave. He needs a rose. He needs a rose in his teeth or in his hand or something.
Yeah, and
he's definitely that type of character. The
He looks so good.
Spaniard. He's also a fencer. Also, that's actually part of his background. He's
Nice.
fencing. So.
Very
and
cool.
his
I love his
next
RJs.
Cervantes.
Cervantes.
Nice.
I love his reverse joints on the legs of the bull. It's accurate for the animal, but also I love RJ's in general. The design choice, not only does it look cool, but the functionality, the element of functionality to it makes mechs much more stable and mobile when you're thinking about having them with reverse joints rather than
You can tell
regular.
he's been playing Armored Core.
I mean, I've always played.
I know.
I've
I
always
just
loved
mean that, like,
reverse
you were-
joints.
yes.
The reverse joints are the way to go,
okay.
baby. RJ's for life. Chicken feet unite. Chicken legs.
So you're gonna recognize this trope because this is something I ran by Ginge, because I did grew up like in the '80s watching like mecha anime. Because I mean, Latin America we got like mecha anime up our noses. We didn't produce anything down here, so we got like an anime was cheaper than American animation to get for the TV stations. So I don't know if you recognize this trope.
The three doctors.
Yes.
Pershing, Sala, and Nino.
Yeah.
I know, like Dr. Pershing sounds familiar, but the three doctors that doesn't. I know, like Dr. Light and Dr. Wily. I know the opposing scientist trope, but the three professors or the three doctors, I'm not sure I'm familiar with that one.
Okay. This anime was called Transfer C in America, so I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Transfer C.
I don't know it.
Transor C.
Transer.
Or Messenger Z.
Oh, Mazinger Z. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, Messenger had three professors at the Photonic Institute, Photonic Energy Institute, and these guys were like, not MacGuffins, but they will like explain the faux science, and they were a comedy relief. So I'm thinking.
So you have professors or doctors who comment on the robots or try and like explain with hand waves the science so that the audience is maintaining their suspension of disbelief through the comic relief of the three professors or doctors who are that's smart. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's like science through slapstick. It's like a Three Stooges dynamic, but verbal. So they're always like whipping each other, trying to explain who has like the best, you know, like.
I remember these dudes now with the freaking giant mustache and the one with the huge beard. Now I remember.
Yes. So that's the thing. Like, I'm taking a lot of I'm letting Ginge write his story, right? Because this is Ginge's story. Like, I'm not really like trying to tell him what to write. But I'm always giving him hints because this is my childhood, you know. So if I see something from, let's say, like Grandizer, like I remember Grandizer properly. Like, dude, like I grew up singing the songs and singing in faux Japanese. So elements of Grandizer would be within this book. Elements of Gundam, especially like the Gundam where they had like the Mexican Gundam that had like a huge sombrero, and there's like a Gundam from everywhere.
So G Gundam, the best Gundam.
The best
G Gundam, baby, the best
Finger?
Gundam. Yeah, Shining Finger.
So that's the thing. Like, I'm taking from all the series I watched as a kid, but from the 80s where the science was not as on point. I'm not saying that in the 90s it was on point.
It's not necessary because it's a part. That's the thing about science fiction. There are different ways to go about doing science fiction. You can either try and marry the science and fiction in a believable way and create a foundational understanding for the physics of the world with the underpinnings of science. You can make everything Kojima particles, like Gundam. Just like, how's it work? Oh, Kojima particles. That's how. Obviously, we discovered this thing and it makes particles. That's how they talk in space without radios because they vibrate the particles and the Kojima reactors and whatever. It's like you can do that, or you can have like something that is so ridiculous and nonsensical that the characters understand how it works. Why don't you? And the audience is like, oh, well, shit. All right, I'm just going with it. So there's really good. There are a lot of interesting ways to get the audience to suspend their disbelief and enjoy the story. And I think this idea, these three dudes is fantastic. They could just come and be like, you know, hand waving the science, just a little bit of like practical explanation without really going too deep into it. With Mavericks, I'm trying to go
about who we better do the opposite way.
I'm going in a direction of how do we get there from here. So
Okay,
I'm charting
gotcha.
a lot of the scientific backbone of the story, so I can bring in the fantastical sci-fi element. Like I have to establish fundamentally how do these mechs work? What are their power sources?
Exactly.
What would that look like if we could beat the square cube law, right? If we could beat the mass and energy balance ratio, if we had like say fusion cells,
Yeah, exactly.
how would they mechanically function? Because then I want to one up that with the science fiction aspect, which if you've read Mavericks, you see happening with the red mech that they fight. It's starting to do all sorts of ridiculous stuff, and everyone's like, I don't know what
Yes.
the fuck. How's it doing that? We don't know how it just. That's not okay because that's the science fiction. That's the so in the world that as I've established it, we have laws, and now I'm going to purposefully break those laws, and then you're going to figure out how we're breaking them.
Yeah, exactly.
At the same time, my series isn't the funny, wonderful, kaijus and waifus series that you guys have. It's a comedy. It's an action sci-fi comedy. Mine's an action sci-fi thriller. Kind of two different genre approaches to the similar subject matter. Or I should say they tackle the same stuff.
You haven't seen our antagonist yet. So that's
no, I haven't, I don't think.
I'm very excited.
We're keeping that on the reps. I mean,
is it a kaiju?
Oh, dude, no, it's a kaiju maker.
Ooh.
So
nice. Good call. Ginge, man. Creative juices, buddy. And now I see why Pedro honks your horn all the time.
No, Ginge honks Pedro's horn. Maybe they honk each other's horn.
Yeah, exactly. We do. He doesn't want to.
Reciprocal, Give and take.
Admit that we're just honking mad down here. Just going,
I'll take that.
I got you, dude. Yeah, like we're making a great team. I'm having a lot of fun drawing this book.
Yeah,
like,
it sounds like a good team up. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I'm like one page away from finishing the prologue, which is 25 pages, and then we'll start with the story. So, yeah, dude. Because Ginge is in Panama City. I'm in Panama, so it's a Panama connection.
Panama handshake.
Yeah,
I like that.
It. Okay, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap this up here.
Dude, we're over a half an hour. This is very unbecoming of us.
It went by so fast. I didn't realize it was that long.
Jake's got to do something because it's getting close to the witching hour, aka the golden gay hour. I don't know how you get out of that, buddy. Good luck to you.
Wow, that sounds.
Just
hey, what's up, QB?
Whole fingered for a couple hours. Hey, JD. What's up, buddy? Very nice.
What's up, buddy?
Okay, great. All right, so. We've got y'all's links in the description. For anybody interested, we've also got the Judex link. One more again.
Yeah. If anyone wants to get Mavericks, is there a way to get it now, like through your website?
Yeah, on the website.
On our website, mavericks.com.
Yeah, we have the website.
Mavricks, just like the name of the book. Mavericks.com.
So get Mavericks, get the Judex guys. The Neff and Frequency Girl are just solid creators, and dude, they just do excellent work. You won't be disappointed. You have a lot of fun. So you see, I'm tooting your horns now.
Thank you.
Hey, I toot her horns. You can toot my horn.
I'll tell Neff to toot her horn. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like that.
Okay, guys.
Thanks for having us on, guys. Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Peace. Okay, guys.
Peace out.
We're going to run some ads, so y'all are free to head out, of course.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, gang. We will catch y'all next week on the Ginge Pedro Show.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, Pops Van Zant here. The Madness Comic Network is evolving into the Madness Roku Network. We're taking our stuff to Roku. We're joining great channels like the American Horrors channel. We're taking our stuff over there, guys. We love it over there. You're going to love what we bring you. We got some great shows, all kinds of different stuff. Come join the madness, yo. Madness Roku Network right here.